Okay, so throughout the years that have passed, we've seen how the California budget crisis has affected many people. And people have lost their jobs, and because people have lost their jobs, they've lost their homes. They can no longer pay for their mortgages. Some people have even had to move out of the state because they can no longer afford living in California. We've also seen education programs that have been cut, and one of the biggest things that have been impacted is higher education. There have been so many classes that have been cut for students, and students have to be waitlisted all the time. They can no longer transfer, in the 2 years as planned. They have to wait, 3 or 4 years. And there have been many protests by both students and teachers, as you can see. And so, luckily, Governor Jerry Brown has proposed a tax plan that could potentially help things like higher education. So in this speech, I'm going to inform you a little bit about Jerry Brown's tax plan. I'm going to start off with informing you about what the tax plan is. I'm going to inform you how it could help higher education, and I'm also going to inform you on what could happen if the tax plan doesn't get approved by its voters. Now, to start off with what the tax plan is, in an article by Kevin Yamamura, a journalist for the Sacramento Bee, which was posted on March 15, 2012, he stated that Governor Brown forged with the California Federation of Teachers, also known as the CFT, to come up with a tax plan to increase the income tax for the rich, and this would help raise about $9 billion for the California budget. This would also, raising the income tax would start at $250,000 for single people, and for couples it'd be at $500,000. And then this tax plan would also increase the sales tax by 1/4 cent for every dollar. In an article that I found by the LA Times, which is posted March 26, 2012, it states that the sales tax increase would last for 4 years, and the income tax increase would last for 7 years. And at first, Governor Brown had asked for a 1/2 cent increase in the sales tax, but when we talked to the CFT, then they decided to make it just a 1/4 cent. However, the increase in income tax still remains there for the wealthy. And a lot of student activists were intrigued by this plan because of the fact that it's taking money from the wealthiest makers of the state, but it's going for the 3 higher education systems such as the UCs, the CSUs, and the community colleges. Which actually brings me to my next point on how it could help higher education. In another article that I found by Kevin Yamamura, which was posted on February 8th, 2012, it states how California spending for higher education had been slashed by 21% during the recession. So Governor Brown has proposed a 4% annual increase for each the UCs, the CSUs, and the community colleges for 3 fiscal years starting in the 2013 to 2014. This would obviously benefit the students a lot because since there have been so many classes cut, it would help with more classes to not be cut. Students would not have to wait so long to transfer because they'd be able to actually take the classes that they need to transfer to whatever UC or CSU that they are trying to get to, or they'll be able to graduate and get the certificate that they need. Tuition won't increase as much with this 4%. However, this can only happen if the voters vote for this tax plan, and which not everybody agrees with it, with the whole tax increase thing. So that's going to bring me to my next point on what could happen if Governor Brown's tax plan does not get passed. In an article by Judy Lynn, who's a writer for the HuffPost San Francisco, which was posted on January 5th, 2012, she stated that if Governor Brown's tax plan does not get approved by its voters, then he will automatically cut $4.8 billion from the public school system. That obviously means that a lot of education programs will be cut, especially for those K through 12 grades. And not only that, but he will be cutting $200 million for each of the UC and CSU systems. So what I had previously spoken about, that students would be able to get their classes and students would be able to transfer on time and get their certificates or whatever it is, that will no longer happen. More classes will be cut. There will be a longer wait list for students to get the classes. Tuition will increase, which tuition is high as it is. So if this plan doesn't get passed or doesn't get approved, then the tuition will increase, and a lot of students are having trouble as it is to pay for their tuition for school, especially those who don't get financial aid. Not to mention that financial aid will get harder to obtain as the time goes by, and especially if this does not get approved. And so basically, if the tax plan doesn't get approved, it is going to have some negative consequences for higher education, even more than we've already seen. So I've talked to you about a little bit about Jerry Brown's tax plan. I've told you what the tax plan is. I've explained to you how higher education could benefit from it, in the ways that classes won't be cut as much. And I've also informed you about how what could happen if Jerry Brown's tax plan doesn't get approved by its voters, and the negative consequences that could happen if voters choose not to approve his tax plan. So hopefully you've been a little bit more informed about Governor Jerry Brown's tax plan, and thank you for your time.